hit the record button and I say, yo, what up?
Hey, man.
Hey,
how's it going?
It's so good. It is so good to be back. It's so good to be back.
Nice.
We're doing a deck doctor on the DLC 2. It's out. It's legal. Have you gotten your copies?
There should be coming in tomorrow through Rochester.
How exciting.
I'm
Big shout out to Rochester.
Yeah.
We love them. We love the boys in orange.
Mm-hmm.
But we're doing a deck doctor, so you're gonna give me your elevator pitch on your super awesome Denki Kaminari 2-dot deck, and we'll chat about it. We'll hang out and we'll do some things and stuff. And while you're giving me the pitch, I'm gonna go and see if I can toss some cards into the sideboard that I think are interesting and cool and pog. So with that,
Yeah,
go ahead and let it rock.
All right, so the idea is Slashing Whirlwind, I think, is the best card with Denki, too. Because he gets all the momentum for it. He has a ton of ways to set up that enhance by forcing damage with Jolt. And when you go to Slashing Whirlwind, you can just pump for the 10, and then also dump all his momentum to just stun him out so they can't block it. So you just force this big Slashing Whirlwind through, on top of all the poke and stuff from before. Plus, he still gets the big dunk cards with, like, Indiscriminate Shock and Blitz Rush now, because he just has a ton of momentum for that, too.
Right. That makes sense to me. Yeah. I mean, Blitz Rush becomes like a stun 6, and if you can stun 6, then that means you get an extra 10 damage as well. Like Blitz Rush being at the front of all these seems kind of schnutz.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this looks good and cool to me. I think this is a neato deck. I'm tossing some stuff in the sideboard. So hit me. Obviously, your favorite attack, like the reason to play this, is Slashing Whirlwind. Do you have like what do you think is the worst attack in your deck?
It's tough, cause they all it's basically 3 dunks and then 2 things that try to set up the dunks.
Right.
So right. I don't think they're bad. It's just like they're just doing different things and are better at different times.
So I noticed you don't have the original, the DLC Indiscriminate Shock. 5 low for 2. Robert discards a random card and draws a card. Discard momentum of this attack, deals damage. Add the top 2 of your deck to momentum. Any particular reason?
This is a rough draft. So my thoughts on that though is because obviously it's not there to do damage. It's kind of there to gamble a momentum for more momentum.
Right.
On if they'll are willing to take that damage, or they may block it and then you wasted a momentum, but they probably tapped out to block it because it's already a 5 speed.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So it's not like terrible either way, but I think I'm valuing like setting up like the guaranteed damage and then just having a bunch of dunks, since I can always just dump my momentum to stun them out and hit them with the dunk.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense. Yo, gift from Mom Denki seems tight. That's not what we're doing here, but that looks sweet. Sorry. Full disclosure, I've done so little looking at these characters. The only character that I've really looked at is Kirishima 2.
Who is also cool.
Who is cool so rad. If PPG has a tournament this Sunday, that's probably who I'm gonna play. Sorry, I'm tossing so many things in your sideboard. So many things.
It's all good. This build is like 1 draft in, and I built it a half hour ago.
Love that. We love that. Let me just double check. All right, and we're good. Okay, so please. Okay, so first and foremost, whenever I saw this guy, the first thing that I saw personally was Searing Glacial Storm. I think Searing Glacial Storm being able to put everybody back to 6 or 5 big ones, and then using 3 momentum to just commit the rest of them out and being like, okay, you have a manageable staging area. I have fought against this guy. I went down to the Orlando locals, and they had the DLC out, and it was somebody was playing as Denki, and I want to say it was might have been round 4 of 5. I was playing as Midoriya 1, and we I just got to beat him by just like playing an absolutely massive stage. I just like built up a huge stage and put on a ton of pressure against him. And then, like, he wasn't able to deal with how big my staging area got. Granted, I was playing the good symbol, and so I had things like, it can't be fixed, and I mainboarded like 4 it can't be fixed and 4 resistance, and so, like, I felt really good about having my stuff committed and getting advantage over top of it. But, I think Searing Glacial Storm, at least in the sideboard, is really, really crucial. We already talked about Indiscriminate Shock a little bit. This lets you just turbo your Slashing Whirlwind turn. If you go into the turn, like you start the turn with 0 momentum, and then you have Indiscriminate Shock, they are forced, like, because you weren't going to Slashing Whirlwind with the 1 momentum anyways, they are forced to respect the Indiscriminate Shock if they can't deal with 2 5-speed attacks, right? Because, like they have to block this little 2 damage Denki move. I meant to say it like D-I-N-K-Y, but D-E-N-K-I is very funny. This just instantly feeds you initially to be like, oh, Slashing Whirlwind is coming. It's coming, right?
Right.
And, like, nobody wants to deal with a 5 low, especially whenever you have a threat like Indiscriminate Shock that's also coming in at the low zone. So I don't know if this card needs to be, 4 of in your deck, but if you're feeling like Jolt could go down to a 3 of, or maybe Grasping Toss isn't quite getting there, you could play these other value moves that, like, because Grasping Toss is in there exclusively for deadlock pressure, which we never want them to get to, because if they go to deadlock, then, like, are out as Blitz Rush,
it's a struggle
right?
to begin with, yeah.
And then it's just a turn on Slashing Whirlwind, right? But this card does that kind of just as well, and they're forced to deal with it. And then the other thing is if this isn't getting you there, you could sideboard into Tape Swings. I know it's a 2-check, but I think that this is Denki 2's strongest card, undoubtedly.
Because it's basically a powerful 2 he can use.
And he gets a momentum every single turn. This card is actually goated in Denki. This is the list that I would be playing. I would be playing Tape Swing. I would be playing Rock and Roll Attitude. I would be playing under the Void symbol. I would be playing the barrier, whatever Chaco's Meteor Barrier is.
Zero gravity barrier.
Yep. And I would be just absolutely murdering people with those and Indiscriminate Shocks, and then Jolt, and then the other one that says once it's in your momentum, flip and then snag a momentum off the top of your deck. And so, like, I would have 1,000 momentum all the time under the Void symbol, and then, like, a cheeky Reciprocal Burst. I guess I can't use Burst, huh? A cheeky Slashing Whirlwind off symbol. Just kidding. But all in all, I think attack-wise, I think you've pretty much nailed it. I think that you should try this list initially, but I would probably take this Grasping Tape Toss down to a 2 of. Boop. I have this set as me, sure. And then I would put in 2 Indiscriminate Shocks, and I think you're just going to find slightly more value by opening up that net a bit, you know? Because this is a good card. This is a good card. I'm not a fan of Blitz Rush. I would rather play the Tape Swing over top of it, because I think it's going to be more guaranteed stuff, and it's a throw, wink wink, for your Slashing Whirlwind.
Yes.
But that's only if you're down to play the 2-check, right?
Right.
And then I would just sideboard the Searing Glacials.
I'm not against 2-checks. 2-checks are pretty good a lot of the time.
If I were, I mean, it's my deck, so I could just get to do it. I'm going to take out these Blitz Rushes. I probably should have put those on the sideboard, huh? And then we're going to put in the 2 Tape Swings. And I think that this is probably the attack lineup that I would run. Are we a 6-hander? 18 attack, 6-hander. How many cards? 63 cards with 8. We're never going to see our moves. What is going on? Either we need to push this up to 20 attacks minimum, or we need to lose some foundations. Which you got a lot of 4 ofs here, and so I think losing foundations is probably the right call.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was a question. Are we going up to 20 attacks, or are we going down to 40-ish foundations?
Let's go down, because I do want it Slashing Whirlwind more.
I love that.
So I want to see that more often.
We love to hear it. Okay, so from here, foundation wise, give me like the idea of the elevator pitch on foundations.
I mean, I think it's just a lot of good value order foundations. I think the only interesting things is I like to balance around block zones. So, like, my block zones were pretty even before we swapped some of the attacks around, probably.
They still are. They're even enough.
All right. Yeah. But I guess some of the interesting things, like I have exam failures because that's basically stun on a foundation. I
Okay.
have natural leader because it can actually increase the speed on slashing whirlwind because
Love
it's
that.
a mid.
And grasping
can-
and into just kidding, and jolt and
Jolt.
tape swing.
And now it's safe swing, yeah.
Hey.
Plus, it can also blank a foundation if there's like a damage block or something.
Or like it can't be fixed or something like that. How annoying.
Yeah.
I'll commit that it can't be fixed. I'll commit 4 more things. What do I do?
Yes. Stuff like that. Yeah. I think natural leader's gonna be pretty good in this.
I agree.
But then yeah, everything else is just, solid value foundations, I think.
I love it. I love it. Okay. My very first thing that I have seen is I think Charged Up is a bad card in your deck. I think that if anything, it should be a 2 of, and I would almost rather it be Shock Treatment instead. I don't know how Shock Treatment's not like a 3 of in this deck. This is your best foundation. You always have the momentum for the top ability. Always.
Yeah.
Always. And that is the same selective committal without destroying it as Charged Up is getting rid of the Electric Jolt. We are losing our high blocks, but we can find them elsewhere, right? I'd rather put in the Desperate Times. I'd rather put in, is this Fair is the next one? Yeah, I would just want to get rid of Charged Up altogether because all it does is just slam Jolt, which is fun, but Shock Treatment is just a better card. It just is. Yeah. So Charged Up is gone. And we're going to put in Shock Treatment at a 2 of at bare minimum. This is Denki 2's best foundation, bar none, hands down. It is the main thing you lose off of Void. This card is correct in this character. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Natural Leader, Desperate Times, Self-Sacrifice, a 4 of?
That was for the lows. Like I like balancing the lows.
Love that. That is a sweet 2 of. Passing Torch is also going to be a 2 of. If you feel like you're still not drawing your attacks after we reduce our count, you can increase this card up by 1. Bonds of Friendship is going to be a 3 of. We just got to cut all of these cards down. Just got to cut them down. From what they were. Making a Stand is so cute. It's the cutest move of all time. I actually probably want to just cut this down. Where are we at now? We're at 53 block zones. We need slightly more low blocks. Okay. I think Making a Stand is not as good in this deck as we think it is. I think it is really, really iffy, actually. Okay. It's a 2/5/3 low. I think that this card is either it should only be mainboarded in Todoroki 2 because he gives my opponent back or my rival back a momentum. In our deck, it's just momentum hate, right? Because like a 2/5 that said +1 damage on a stun move is not very good, especially in our character that doesn't give a damage pump. It's so mid. It could be another self-sack and other fruits instead. 100% crossfade. So I think we're just gonna toss the Making. It's just gone.
Sounds
yeah,
sure.
and I'm gonna put self back to a 3 because I think our goal here is to get to 55 cards. 55 cards, 18 attacks, and we're slamming random ones in. I think that's where it's at. Okay, so let's go back to Block Zone. I like this card because we play some 5 discs, right? Tape swings 5, 5, 5. You're a 4, but you want to be it is at minimum a 5 because we want to play it second, and then this is a 4. This is probably our best lead-in move, right? Gee, I guess having the 6 is good. Let's double check. We're down to 12. I mean, we could just increase the gotcha again. I think it's probably just a better card than Fruits of Our Labors being at a 4 of. Unless you're like afraid of water decks, question mark?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to test it. I don't think it's that bad, though.
Okay. The other thing that we get to do whenever it comes to rounding out our zones is we're not playing any tape. We're playing 0 of that card, which just says make a thing mid or make your mids very slow. And I think that mid attacks are very good this format. And so I think this card has a lot of stock. And it means that we're allowed to just play more mids than normal because we just get to change a thing to mid, or our high blocks now become low blocks or become mid blocks because we changed it to mid, right?
Yeah.
So like I could easily see us we're at 52. We could just windmill slam 3 tape in this bad boy Just see what's up. Are there any low blocks that I put in here? No. Okay. If we had to shove more low blocks because you wanted this to be as even as possible, what low blocks would you want? Would you want a fourth self-sacrifice? Would you want more gotcha? Would you want more fruits?
I'd probably hit the self-sacrifice first because it's a 1 low.
Okay. So we'll toss it up, and then we'll see. We're at 57, which means we gotta cut some stuff. No heroic lineage in our order deck. The only thing that I guess that is a fair thing to say. How do you feel about heroic? Because I can go snag it if you want.
Yeah, I probably should put in at least like 2 or 3 because that is more speed hate.
Okay, let me go snag it. This one, foundation, go.
Yeah, I think that was just a card I just forgot.
Hey, I get it. All my homies hate this card. Alright, I'm just going to slam it in the main board at 3 and then see what happens. Okay, so we're back to 60. Okay, we got to cut some more. We're even, though. So I think self-sacrifice is going to come down to a 3. Let's go 2 block zones. Alright, our highs. Desperate Time, Natural Leader, Final Exam failures. How do you feel about failures?
I like it.
Okay.
It is effectively stun 1 that will randomly be like stun 3 or destroy a ready foundation.
Fair. How do you like exam failures better than Natural Leader? What just happened? Yo, gamer, thank you for the sub.
Man, that's a tough one because I think Natural Leader is cool. It's just different situations because like Final Exam failures is better if like I want to dunk with 13 million volts or whatever because that gives me more damage and it can stun them out. Right. But Leader is good if I'm like I want to go in with the Slashing Whirlwind or they have a pesky foundation I need to specifically target. So
here's what's happening is I'm cutting 2 high blocks, 2 low blocks, and a mid block. Right? And so the question is do we leave 2 natural leaders and then 2 natural leaders, 1 failures, or do we cut both failures and keep all 3 natural leaders?
I think I'd cut the failures then.
Okay. Failures
it's a little redundant.
And then from there we need to cut the low blocks, and so the answer is we're just going to cut 1 gotcha, boop, because we have so much spam, and this card actually doesn't do anything in our deck. Like it's just there to be a 0 diff. And then probably
it does randomly give indiscriminate +1 speed.
That's wow, how boggers. All right, so we've cut that. And we've cut 1 fruits of our labors. I think that's a solid. Fruits of our labors is a really good sideboard card, and it's really good if your local meta is very card pool stuffing. But besides that, it's kind of mid at best.
Yeah.
Or if you're like if your opponent's just like slam into it.
Yeah.
And then we're losing 1 ice gliding.
Yeah. It's all good.
And then, double checking. Wait, 50. This is supposed to be the numbers, right?
Yeah.
What? I thought. Am I allowed to put an ice gliding back in? Ice gliding at 3. Let me double check my numbers here. Oh, it says that I'm 1 off. Did I misclick here? Huh. It looks like I have to put back in a low block? Question mark. So it's probably just fruits then, right? Fruits are gotcha?
I like spam, so I would do gotcha.
Okay. 15, 25, 15. Including tape. This is a 55 card deck. This looks tight. So the things that we're leaving on the table, right? The things that you should put in your sideboard and figure it out. This is one of the best turn 2 defenses of all time. This card is crazy on turn 2. So make sure that you are like if you are finding some of these mid moves or these mid block moves not getting it for you, right? Like you could cut ice gliding down to a 2 of. You could cut. Let's go back to block zones. Mids. Requesting, you could drop down to a 3. That's kind of crazy in this deck, but you could. Tape could go down to a 2. Calling could go down to a 2. Ice gliding could go down to a 2. I think 3 sticky balls in this deck would be nuts. Be very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Besides that, like Challenge the Fakes is just a good card. Think Fast is really goated with Tape Swing. This deck could end up like sideboarding like Sarah 1 and feeling totally chill about it, because I mean, what feels great about a mid block or mid attack Slashing Whirlwind, a low attack Slashing Whirlwind. That feels very good.
Yeah.
All in all, though, I think this deck's rad. I think it's very, very cool. Is there anything
Same.
that you vehemently disagree with in this list?
No, I mean it all makes sense. Nothing wrong with what you've said or changed.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, man. Well, thank you for the support over on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with me while I've been on vacation for literally 19 days.
No worries, man. Thank you very much.
We'll get to the deck list, and you have a good rest of it, okay?
You too, man.
Peace.